Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you enjoy three-game winning streaks, because that's what the Grizzlies are on right now. Yeah, they're still shorthanded. The injury news, not so great, but wins are wins. We'll take them however we can get them. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In about 20 minutes, Michael Eaves is going to join me. He, of course, is a Sports Center host for ESPN. I'll talk to him about the biggest matters in sports from the weekend. Michael Eaves from ESPN going to be here in about 20 minutes. When we finish talking to Michael Eaves, we'll take a break, come back, and turn our attention to Tiger basketball. Penny Hardaway's Tigers improved to 2-0 this weekend, went out to Las Vegas, overcame a double-digit deficit, beat the running Rebels. So Memphis now 2-0 with a game this week at home against Ohio. We'll catch you up on Penny's Tigers. We'll do that in about 40 minutes. Finish talking Tiger basketball. We'll take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Ryan Silverfield's Tigers beat Rice 27-20 late Friday inside Simmons Bank. Announced crowd 23,693. We'll discuss that in about an hour. Ole Miss pounded Georgia at Vaught Hemingway this weekend. Final score 28-10. So Lane Kiffin's Rebels are back in the college football playoff picture. I'll tell you where CBS Sports has them slotted. We'll do that in just a bit. We got a new Dear Jane to discuss. It involves a couple and an international flight. I think me and Bennett are going to agree on this one.
Okay.
I'll read you through it. We'll do that in the second hour. Auburn got the biggest win of the weekend in college basketball. Went to Houston and beat Houston. One day after their flight was diverted, they had a fist fight in the air. Wild situation. I'll run you through it. We'll do that a little later on in the show. And I was at the Veterans Classic this weekend, United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. I met an interesting young man who plays for Harvard. He's got a story that I think more young people should subscribe to. I'll tell you more about it. We'll do that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's Carryout, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a whole bunch to get to, but I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies, because games 10 and 11 of a scheduled 82, they were played this weekend. On Friday, the Grizz beat the Wizards. That was 128-104. On Sunday, beat the Blazers by 45, 134-89. So that's 3 straight victories for your Memphis Grizzlies, who are now 7-4 on the season, alone in 5th Western Conference standings. That's the good news. The bad news is that, once again, Grizzlies PR up to its old tricks. Can't trust them.
Man, I was refreshing like crazy over the weekend, too.
The tweet came at 4:15 p.m. Central on Saturday. I'll just read it to you.
Okay.
While attempting to catch a lob during the third quarter of the November 6th game against the Los Angeles Lakers, Ja Morant was destabilized midair by a Lakers player, causing him to fall into extreme right hip flexion. Imaging revealed a posterior hip subluxation without dislocation, thank God, along with multiple associated grade 1 pelvic muscle strains. I don't know what any of that means.
Those aren't real words.
I don't even think
those aren't real words.
That sounds made up.
That can't be real.
What is all this? When did we... Just tell me what's going. Just tell me his stomach hurts. Can't you just say his stomach hurts? No. Morant is considered week to week, and updates will be provided as appropriate. End of statement. So if you're keeping track,
yes,
the Grizz are now without 3 starters, specifically Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, and Marcus Smart. Ja, just to reiterate, is week to week with a right hip subluxation and multiple pelvic muscle strains. Des, week to week, right oblique strain. Marcus, day-to-day, right ankle sprain. Marcus Smart, by the way, could be back as soon as Wednesday.
That would be big.
Against the Lakers. This week at Los Angeles on Wednesday, at Golden State on Friday. Barring a surprise, the Grizz will continue to have to win games without some of their best players. It's not as bad as last season, obviously, but it's still not ideal. Big Bet Betty, you tell me, what feeling is stronger for you? The positive feeling of a 3-game winning streak, or the not so positive feeling of, why does the injury report look like that again?
Honestly, like, I'm obviously feeling good about the 3-game winning streak, especially being so shorthanded. But frankly, when that PR tweet came out,
Grizzlies PR,
I was relieved. I was. I mean, just because Friday night, and I get it. It's just you're trying to avoid risk, whatever. But Friday night, he comes out in crutches and sits on the bench. And I mean, you're just like, oh my gosh.
If I never see Ja Morant on crutches again, that'd be fine with me.
Yeah, and so, like, obviously your mind just goes.
I'd rather see my own kids in crutches than Ja Morant.
Me too.
I'd rather walk home today and walk inside and my 10-year-old be on crutches and I have to go, man, what happened to you? Than see Ja Morant on crutches again today.
Yeah, so when you see that on Friday night, immediately your mind goes to, oh my God, is this going to be really bad? Is this going to be like really bad news? I mean, he's on crutches. Like, he's not really getting up off the bench or moving around too much at all. And so to see that it's going to be week to week and he didn't break anything, you're kind of relieved. Like, I am, at least.
Look, week to week's better than month to month.
Exactly. And then you look at, like, I mean, Chet Holmgren just fractured his hip. He's out for indefinitely. Right. So, it's obviously injuries are going crazy around the league right now. But, apparently this team's got the depth to be able to hang around. I mean, all they got to do is hang around until they start getting all these guys back. And I think they're going to have the capability to do that. At least it appears so. Now, granted, they beat two of the worst teams in the league these past two, but you just need to be able to hang around.
Listen, you're not guaranteed to beat anybody when you're down 3 starters. Like, this is hard. And so I'll take the wins wherever you can get them. I'm not going to come in here after they squander a possible victory by sitting starters in the fourth quarter and explain how every game counts the same. And at the end of this, they're just going to add them all up, and your wins and losses are going to determine where you're seated. And then a week later come in and try to discount victories when you're shorthanded. They've won 3 in a row. They're 7-4, alone in 5th in the standings. This is all good stuff, given that the injury report looks the way it looks. And you're exactly right. Among the reasons you can be 7-4 despite all of these injuries is because they do have real depth and quality at the bottom of the roster. And Scotty Pippen Jr. is perhaps the greatest example of that. He was terrific last night, again, after getting a triple-double in Friday night's victory. He triple-double on Friday night. Last night, 17 points in 21 minutes.
Yeah, man.
He's now averaging 12.1 points, 6.5 assists, 4.2 rebounds in 25.5 minutes per game, shooting above 52% from the field, nearly 44% from three-point range. It is wild, and I tweeted this last night. And it's not like I'm the only person who's discovered this. It's a pretty common thing at this point. It is wild that this dude is from Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah. I know where you're going.
Was a member of the Lakers organization for multiple years, and they did nothing with him. Kept him on a two-way. He only appeared in 6 games ever with the Lakers. They could have given him the Bronny contract at any point.
Yeah.
And he would have signed it in seconds. Instead, they refused to invest in him, refused to develop him, or at least failed to develop him, mostly keep him in South Bay, and then give up on him. And now he's a Los Angeles native on a standard contract for a Western Conference franchise that is ahead of you in the standings. Meantime, Bronny James just went 2 of 9 from the field for the South Bay Lakers.
Yeah.
Not the biggest deal in the world, and you could also just interchange Jay Huff's name, and say the similar things.
Oh, they'd love to have him too.
These are two guys that were both part of that organization, and they would not give either one of them the contract they've given Bronny James.
No, I mean, Lakers fans would take Scotty Pippen Jr. over D'Angelo Russell right now.
Probably.
Yes, of course they would. JJ Redick's already calling him out.
Yes.
Like, that's a starter. I mean, yeah, they messed that one up big time. But hey, that's worked out great for us.
So when the Lakers' depth becomes an issue, and just about everybody believes that it will eventually, well, it's these types of decisions. Nobody really pays attention to you when you don't utilize or develop Jay Huff in real time, or don't utilize or develop Scotty Pippen Jr. in real time. But when you have depth issues and those two guys are playing meaningful minutes for a Western Conference franchise that's ahead of you in the standings, then people start to notice. And that's when folks start to ask questions like, what are we doing as a front office? These things are unconnected, kind of. I can understand why they did what they did with Bronny, but still not quite understand why they couldn't see in Scottie Pippen or Jay Huff what the Grizzlies clearly see in Scottie Pippen or Jay Huff. Anyway, that's their miss. Our gain, we'll take it. Back to the injuries, just so you know that they're not just specific to the Grizz. Like, we ain't the only ones going through this. You sent me an interesting tweet this morning, Bennett, from Keith Smith, who's been covering the NBA for a long time. He tweeted, 6 of last season's All-Stars are out right now with long-term injuries. Paolo Banchero, Scotty Barnes, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, who should be back this week, Kawhi Leonard, Tyrese Maxey. As Keith points out on Twitter, Jaylen Brown and Paul George have already missed time. Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic are both playing through injuries. And then the list of quote-unquote non-All-Stars, so just people who weren't on the 2024 All-Star team who are also sidelined with injuries right now. Lonzo Ball, Desmond Bane, both Bogdanoviches, Aaron Gordon, Isaiah Hartenstein, Jordan Hawkins, Chet Holmgren, C.J. McCollum, Chris Middleton, Ja Morant, Trey Murphy, DeJounte Murray, Kristaps Porzingis, Marcus Smart, Jeremy Sohan, Zion Williamson. This is crazy.
That's insane.
It's like, how did we get to a point? And I don't know that there's a clear answer for this, but how did we get to a point where it feels like, and I use that word intentionally because I don't have the data right in front of me, but it feels like the NBA is more disrupted by injuries than the NFL.
More than ever, it seems like. I'm totally with you. And that's
like
that
Patrick
is
Mahomes
crazy.
is playing.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is playing.
I'm trying to think of like what the big injuries in the NFL were this season.
Right now, name me the 5 biggest injuries in the NFL.
Like Rasheed Rice and Isaiah Pacheco stand out because they both play for the Chiefs. And I had them at my fantasy teams. I'm looking at it through a fantasy football
Christian
perspective because you got to
McCaffrey's
put them in your
sidelined.
Dak's
a big
out.
one.
But it's not. It doesn't seem as. At least it's not as big. It doesn't appear to be as big as it is in the NBA, like the big stars.
I was prepping a segment on this like last week, and I scrapped it for something, but I still had some of the, I was far enough into the prep where I'd stumbled into some things. And it's just like, Michael Jordan was 30 years ago, drinking, smoking, gambling all night, every night. His eyes are yellow, okay? Go look at his career stats. The guy just played every game. Just played 37 minutes every game. Charles Barkley was famously out of shape. Just played every game.
So I heard you and JB talking about it, and I do tend to agree with her point about these guys are playing basketball longer than they ever have before. Like, they start when they're kids, and they play every single week, multiple games a week, and it probably wasn't like that, in years past.
I guess, but... but like kids were still playing, like
they were still playing basketball. Yeah,
just because you weren't playing AAU all weekend doesn't mean you weren't playing basketball all weekend.
Right, I agree with that too. I do think that these guys are more athletic than ever, and so they are. And the game is being played faster than it's ever been played, and so they're putting their bodies to the test probably more than ever before. I guess I think that, but again, I don't.
They are. This is a fact. Athletes today, broadly speaking, are better conditioned. They take better care of themselves. You want to see how well these guys take care of themselves? Go look at pictures of college players, like the one-and-done guys. in their freshman years of college, and then look at them 5 years later. They all look better. Like, go look at Kevin Love at UCLA and Kevin Love today. He looks like a different person. Derrick Rose at Memphis, Derrick Rose 5 years into his Bulls career. These guys, once they get to the NBA, the way they consume food is at the highest level, for the most part. The way they take care of themselves at the highest level. And they just can't stay healthy. Nobody can stay healthy. I don't understand it. I don't know that there's a great answer for it. Right. I wish somebody would dive in and like really, really study
it out. Yeah.
Figure why is it that we have the best medicine, technology, diets, everything we've ever had, and nobody can stay healthy to play this game? What is the issue? Because it is not just a Grizzlies issue. I know sometimes it feels like it is, but this is happening all over the league. It happens here more than it happens other places. Again, it feels that way. But, you know, there's it feels like just about every franchise is dealing with a significant injury or they just one more game away from one. Nobody can stay healthy. It's a real problem. I'll ask Michael Eaves. He's got a theory on it. We'll do that next.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
At Southland Casino Hotel, it's time to work hard, play hard with our $500,000 giveaway. Earn entries October through November 9th and take home free play and amazing prizes on select Saturdays, including a big rig. Stay connected on social media for weekly drawing clues. Join us November 9th for the grand finale drawing where you could drive off in a four-wheeler, side-by-side, or big rig. Work hard and play harder at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping. It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
Behind the back to Jared for the flush.
We're going to need, the form rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane three. Yes, sir. Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Justin Timberlake. I'm bringing sexy back. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Who do you see ending up in the SWAC championship game. So give me your East and your West based on what you see right now.
If I had to say from what I've seen this year so far, I think you're probably going to get a Southern Jackson SWAC championship.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Tigers are 2-0, went to Las Vegas this weekend, beat UNLV, overcame a double-digit deficit to secure the win. We'll get into that in the next segment, but right now, he hosts SportsCenter for ESPN. It's the great Michael Eaves. He joins me on Mondays. He's here via Skype. Michael Eaves, it's GP. How you doing on this Monday?
I'm good, man. Memphis 2-0, Kentucky's 2-0. Let's go.
Hey, and Kentucky's shooting 34 threes, that modern style of basketball that Mark Pope subscribes to. It's fun to watch, and it's already on full display.
You know, it reminds a lot of Kentucky fans, and when Rick Pitino first came to Kentucky there in the late 80s, early 90s, they had to shoot a lot of threes out of necessity back then because they were so undersized. But, yeah, that is the modern game. And if you look at the NBA, Gary, there are just so many threes shot every game. I mean, Boston's already set 2 separate records for shooting threes this season. They're the defending champs. I mean, that's seemingly the way to do it now, and you're going to see it trickle down to college basketball as well. It's like either you shoot threes or you dunk. That's seemingly the game right now.
I don't mean to get too in the weeds on this, but you're exactly right. And this is something people have started to highlight and say it's a problem with basketball. It's not enjoyable to watch. It's smart. It's a smart mathematical way to play, but it's not a pleasing display of basketball for the viewer, and that they maybe ought to even adjust the rules to try to minimize the three-point shot or at least discount it a little bit. Do you have an opinion on that?
I do have an opinion that basketball fans and most sports fans are never happy with anything. Because I remember back in the 90s when they said there wasn't enough scoring, the game was too bogged down, there was too much isolation, blah, 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 blah. So the NBA changes some rules defensively to allow for more free-flowing offense, and now you got all the threes being put up, and now it's like, oh, we don't like that in college basketball either. I'll say this. Based on how the athletes have evolved, I would be okay with moving the three-point line back a little bit, but you can only really do it at the top of the key area. You can't really do it in the corners. The range for these guys now is pretty maddening for an old guy like me. But, yeah, I'd move it back a little bit. But at the same time, you have to appreciate what guys can do, and the game evolves. It always evolved. And this is just another evolution. You know what? In 10 years from now, they'll be doing something else we can complain about.
Just to highlight how the 3s over 2s thing became an accepted rule across the league, I saw in a podcast LaMarcus Aldridge was telling a story the other day. It was a clip just sort of came through my feed. And he was talking about early in his career, he was just getting cooked by Tim Duncan. And he said, Tim Duncan scored 14 points in a row on me and was encouraging me, hey, just keep trying. You're working hard. He was like, it was humiliating. He said, so we call a timeout, and I go to my coaching staff, and I said, are you going to send me some help? And they said, no, just keep doing what you're doing. We're fine. He said, he scored 4. I'm getting embarrassed out there. They said, every time he scores on you, that's a wide open 3 somebody else isn't taking. We're going to live with this. And LaMarcus Aldridge was like, I understood it. I felt awful because Duncan was giving it to me, but they were comfortable giving up 2s as opposed to wide open 3s. And that's fast forward all these years, and almost everybody plays that way.
Yeah, and now here's the thing, though. You used to try to do that to not have wide open 3s. Now teams are taking contested 3s because they still believe it's better than a contested 2, unless it's obviously something in transition and a wide open layup or dunk. Now, as a old school basketball guy, I do miss the mid-range game because it's almost like soccer a little bit. If you get a little too inside the weeds, as you said, to relate to basketball, so much had to happen for guys to get open shots within the 10 to 12, 13-foot range, right? Now you don't even have that aspect of the game anymore. Very rarely do you have it. So I miss that aspect of it because I think the game is 3 parts. It's outside, it's mid-range, and it's at the basket. But we just eliminated the mid-range for the most part. But guys are so good at shooting the basketball now, Gary, compared to years in the past. It's still entertaining. They still got to score more than the other team, and that's ultimately what basketball is about.
Once again, here in Memphis, we are talking about injuries. Ja Morant now week to week with multiple injuries. Desmond Bane already sidelined. Marcus Smart on the verge of coming back. But the Grizzlies did play last night in Portland without 3 starters. And around the league, it's another season where Chet Holmgren's sidelined. Kevin Durant is sidelined. I don't have the data in front of me, but you cover this stuff every single day. You talk about it on television. What I said in the opening segment is it feels like players are having a harder time staying healthy in the NBA than they used to 20, 30 years ago. And I don't know that makes sense on a surface level. First off, does it feel that way to you? And if so, do you have a theory on why this is?
We definitely have more players, especially star players, missing more games now than they did a generation ago. I mean, that is just factual. Now, some of them are freak injuries. Like Chet Holmgren last night literally fell on his hip and suffered a fracture. Okay, that's nothing you can do about it. Anthony Davis left Lakers game last night because he got poked in the eye and he's had an issue with that eye in the past. That's something that just happened. But for me, it's more about the strains that are happening. So Kevin Durant's out with a calf strain. Zion Williamson's out with a hamstring pull. We feel like we're getting more of the soft tissue injuries now than we used to have, like whether it's a torn ACL or an Achilles or a fractured bone or things of that nature. It's the soft tissue injuries that are more prevalent for whatever reason. And I don't understand why. But I do believe that anytime these star players suffer some of these soft tissue injuries, Gary, I think there's more of a cautious nature by the teams to take them out for extended period of times to make sure that does not develop into something else. And because these guys are making so much money, they're concerned about not having them when they need them the most, which is obviously the postseason. But at the same time, the regular season sees way more of these guys playing fewer and fewer games.
Yeah, I mean, I had one front office person put it to me this way. Like, if you had a $200 million car and you thought something might be wrong with it, you'd take it right in and get it checked out. You'd be very careful with it. You're more careful with a $200 million car. And we've never had cars to continue with the analogy, we've never had cars this expensive in professional sports.
Yes, but think about it this way. So let's say that's your only car, though.
Yeah.
Right? And you need it to go to this very important job interview. You're going to take the risk and drive that car to that appointment because it could mean, obviously something for your future. So they're trying to make sure they got the car drivable when they get to the postseason. Whatever conditions it's in, they'll drive it in the postseason more than they will in the regular season, and they just got to get there first.
That's exactly right. Talking to Michael Eaves, I think a lot of people had sort of closed the championship window in Golden State and said, amazing career, Steph, but you're just going to continue to score a lot of points and make incredible shots, but for a middle-of-the-pack Western Conference team at best. And maybe that's still what they'll end up being, but they went to Oklahoma City last night. They won. They're 8-2 right now through 10 games. Is this real? Is Golden State a legitimate Western Conference contender again?
I mean, I do think 10 games is still too early. I think you got to get around the 20 to 25 game mark to find out who a team really is. But it's safe to say that they're above projections by just about everybody, maybe just everybody outside of their offenses there in the Bay Area. But they've had the development of younger players come to fruition when they needed them the most. And you can't underestimate the addition of Buddy Hield to that offense and what it does to enable Steph not to have to play a bunch of minutes and carry everything. You got another shooter out there. And maybe you got to give credit to Steve Kerr, just how good of a coach he is, that can take whatever he has and find a way to improve on those parts and then make it into something that can be a championship contender. Because they had Steph, they had Clay, and obviously Draymond as well. We focus so much on the big three, but there are always these other pieces around, Gary, that enable those guys to be stars. Who's setting those screens? Who's making the outlet passes? All of those things enabled Steph and Clay to be the superstar scorers they were. Or they're getting more of that now just from different guys that we maybe didn't expect.
Tomorrow night will be an interesting night in San Francisco. Klay Thompson will return as a visitor for the first time. We've seen future Hall of Fame guys leave franchises via free agency before and come back, and it has been ugly. LeBron James back in Cleveland, Kevin Durant back in Oklahoma City. I don't suspect this is going to be anything like this. This is going to be sweet, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the fans there are going to show their appreciation for Clay. And I hope for him, because this was an emotional divorce, especially from his standpoint, because he felt hurt and he probably felt kind of left out to dry a little bit by the organization, whether that was factual or not. That's how he felt. I hope when he comes back there that they give him the reception that helps him get a little bit of closure to that aspect of his departure from an emotional standpoint, that he remembers all the great things that happened while he was there, and which will always be the focal point of his career, what happened there in Golden State, and he can sort of move past it. I think going there to Dallas, definitely a fresh start for him. Probably he needed that as well, but you also probably need the closure on the back end, and maybe he gets that tomorrow night.
And it's one of those deals where I understand both sides. Like if I were running Golden State, I would not have extended Klay. I would not have given the contract he was after. And also if I were Klay Thompson, I would have been hurt by that. I understand both sides of it.
Yeah, because all right, Steph's always going to get his money. Let's be real. But Draymond got his money.
Right.
And that's probably the thing that hurt Klay the most. That, okay, I'm not Steph. I get that. But I'm better than Draymond. But the difference is Draymond did not have two devastating injuries, an ACL and an Achilles tear. And if you're doling out money, it's a business, right? So you're making educated guesses based on what the thing is going to happen in the future. And they didn't think that based off those injuries, Klay would be the player that would demand the contract he was asking for, even though his post-career or his previous career had suggested he was worthy of that money.
This morning I was driving my little guys to school and we're listening to the radio and they started talking about Jake Paul, Mike Tyson on Netflix this weekend. And my middle guy was like, I want to watch that. And I said, we will. And we will. But when you hear about this, does it make you excited, sad? What is your reaction to Mike Tyson at 58 years old is going to be in a boxing ring this weekend?
It's such mixed emotions, Gary. And I was literally talking about that to my wife this morning because you also have the John Jones-Stipe Miocic fight this week in the UFC. And both of those things I want to see and I don't want to see, right? Like, I don't want to see boxing become more of a farce than it is with this whole Jake Paul thing. But I also want to see Mike Tyson knock Jake Paul out to shut him up. But God forbid if Mike Tyson gets knocked out, I don't know if I could take that, right? Because Mike Tyson was a sports hero when I was a kid. That was before, obviously, all the issues that he had with going to prison. But then also on the other side with John Jones and Stipe Miocic, John Jones is probably the best fighter there ever lived. And Stipe was the best heavyweight that's ever been seen in the UFC. But he hasn't fought in 3 years, and now he's going to probably get knocked out by John Jones in the second round. I don't want to see Stipe go out that way, right? But at the same time, I do want to see these two guys because I wish I could have seen them 3 years ago or 4 years ago fight. So you have this draw of nostalgia with Mike Tyson and some of these other fighters that's colliding with this new generation of entertainment and popularity. But at the same time, you're afraid of what could happen, although you want something to happen. Right, it's such a conflicting pull for me that I'm going to watch these two events this weekend. I already have a Netflix account, so it's not like I have to necessarily pay extra for the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. But to pay for the pay-per-view for the UFC, I'm kind of torn because I don't want to pay for it, but I still want to see it. Yeah,
I'm real conflicted too because, like you, and I think it's possible for us to take Mike Tyson and separate the figure from the actual person who did go to jail for a very serious crime. He wasn't a larger-than-life figure in my childhood. I've told this story before. I went to a charity event out in L.A. many years ago, and I'm talking about the stars of the stars were there. Magic, Joe Montana. Nobody moved the room the way Mike Tyson moved the room when he walked in. It was like the stars were in awe of Iron Mike is here. The champ is here. It made me sad to watch him get beat up by Lennox Lewis here at the Pyramid 20 years ago. I want to put my eyes on this Friday night. I will actually I'll feel bad if I watch Mike Tyson get a beating and 58-year-old, an old man, just lay there in the middle of the ring for a check that I'd prefer him not to need at this point in his life.
Especially if he's getting beat by Jake Paul.
All right.
That's the thing. Like, if he and Lennox Lewis fought again at this age or whatever, you wouldn't feel the same way. Right. But if he loses to Jake Paul, that's going to be a hard thing for people of our generation to accept. Yeah. Even though we know Mike Tyson's 58 years old, he hasn't fought in a long time. He's not the same guy he was. But come on, bro, don't lose to Jake Paul of all people.
Last thing before I let you go. I, like you, am a boxing fan. And throughout my whole life, perhaps boxing's never been what it was in the 60s or the 70s, but I still grew up with Mike Tyson, and we had Evander Holyfield, and we had Lennox Lewis and Roy Jones and Floyd Mayweather. There's always been at least a guy that could really, all right, maybe twice a year and only twice a year, but the world will stop and pay attention to what this guy's doing in a boxing ring. Yeah. I don't know if we've got that now. Canelo was maybe that for a minute. Terrence Crawford's amazing, but I don't think he draws like that. Can boxing ever get back to at least where it was when Floyd was running things?
Not as it's currently constructed. Because, look, we've had multiple boxing organizations, WBA, WBO, IBF, But typically when you had championship caliber fighters, all those organizations would get together, sanction a fight, and make sure it happened. Now you don't have that as much. And you also have fighters and promoters that are tied to networks more than anything else. So if you're a Showtime guy, used to be an HBO, now it's the Zone guy. Sometimes it's hard to get those two guys to fight based on wherever the platform they're tied to. So it's just so messy that it's hard to get the best fighters together. And also there's way too many weight classes, quite honestly. Because, you used to have welterweight, middleweight, maybe light heavy, and then heavyweight. There were like 4, 5, maybe max weight classes that really defined who the boxers were. You got way too many of them right now. And everything is so divided and scattered all over the place. It's hard to build those champions, Gary, that can become stars, which is what boxing always has. The champions were always some of the biggest stars in sports in boxing, and we just don't have that anymore.
And it's Michael Eaves from ESPN. Make sure you follow him on X at Michael Eaves. That's at Michael Eaves. Thanks, buddy. I always appreciate your time. Enjoy the Champions Classic tomorrow night.
All right, man. Go Cats.
Go Cats. I'll see you. That's Michael Eaves from ESPN. When we come back, turn our attention to Tiger basketball. Penny's program went out to Las Vegas over the weekend. Got down double digits, as they did in the season opener as well, but rallied behind P.J. Haggerty. He was incredible again. Memphis is 2-0, top 40 at both Kim Palm and Bart Torvik. We'll talk Tiger basketball next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
Justin Timberlake. I'm bringing sexy back. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. The brand new single, Selfish, is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up JustinTimberlake.com.
Now every time you go to Miami, you can go see, there's a statue of me there.
No, I don't look nothing like that thing, man. Look,
I would have been offended.
Look at that. That is UTA.
Oh, my God.
That is
Oh, look. Hey, y'all got to get that screenshot, man. Put that on the...
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The 3 big beats this week. One was root for points in honor of John Roser. How about that Miami-Louisville game?
Good
crushed
grief.
the over, which was 60. Finished with 97 total points, 52-45. Meanwhile, the Academy's covering again, both Army and Navy, getting the job done.
This.
Army, best start since 96.
America.
Navy crushed Charlotte. They're ranked 23rd and 24th in the country.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
We got to talk about Scotty Pippen Jr. Scotty has inked that contract, and he is now officially off the two-way. He is a member of the regular rotation.
Well-deserved, from my opinion. He straight up earned this one from all the time put in last season with the injuries to Summer League.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Who do you see ending up in the SWAC championship game. So give me your East and your West based on what you see right now.
If I had to say from what I've seen this year so far, I think you're probably going to get a Southern Jackson SWAC championship.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
It's a nice weekend for Penny Hardaway's Tigers. Went out to Las Vegas, played UNLV inside the Thomas and Mack. They went down by double digits, but don't worry, Big Bet Bennett. Game's never over as long as you got PJ Haggerty.
Damn right it's not.
Apparently, he's turning in quite to something, huh?
Dude, yeah, I mean, I'm impressed by them these first two games to the season. I think that the one thing coming into the season was, is someone going to emerge as like the guy for this team? Is there going to be a Kendrick Davis, a Jeremiah Martin? Is there going to be a guy like that for this team? And it appears it's going to be him.
The early returns,
been awesome.
The early returns suggest there will be a guy like that.
Yeah.
And his name is PJ Haggerty. Memphis 80, UNLV 74. That was the final score. Tigers outscored UNLV 50-40 in the second half to win the game by 6. PJ Haggerty took 18 shots, made 10 of them. Finished with 29 points, so he's now averaging 27 points, 4.5 rebounds, 4 assists through 2 games. He got 25 in that season-opening victory over Missouri. It's his third school in 3 years. So far, so good. He's interesting in that he's a 6'3 guard, big scorer, doesn't shoot it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's a non-shooter.
That's a good point, yeah.
He goes out and gets 25, 29.
Yeah.
Most of it's at the rim. Like roughly 56% of his field goal attempts come at the rim. He's above 60% on those shots. So he's just a get into the lane and make things happen type of guard. Not your more modern high-scoring guard who's going to do a lot of work from the three-point line. He'll shoot those shots every once in a while, but he doesn't want to shoot them, and he's not as an effective as a scorer out there as he is, when he gets his feet in the paint.
Yeah, the other thing that I've been pleasantly surprised about is the front court, because I think there was a lot of uncertainty coming into the season, and it looks like they're going to be serviceable. Dane Dange's been good. Nick Jourdain's been, obviously better than he was last season. Like, he was just kind of a bit player last season. He's stepping into a bigger role, and he's been good through these first 2 games. And then Musa coming off the bench, I think, is pretty good too. So I've been... Again, it's early, but I've been pleasantly surprised with all of it.
Yeah. I mean, listen, 2-0 that's the best record you can have through 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
They were down 14 to Missouri before rallying, and then down 12 to UNLV before rallying. So they've had to overcome at least 12-point deficits in each game.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bad.
Mm-hmm.
The good is they won both games.
Yeah.
2-0
against real basketball teams. Maybe Missouri's not going to be good in the SEC, fine. But in UNLV, we'll see. They were an NIT team last year. We'll see. But it's 2 schools that care about basketball.
That's
How
fair.
about that? Yeah.
Like, while other schools are out there beating up on Southeast Louisiana.
Right.
Memphis played Missouri and UNLV in the opening week. Neither is likely to be in the NCAA tournament, but both are top 100 KenPom teams. So, tell me how you want me to sell it. I can sell it to you either way.
Sure.
Memphis is 2-0 with 2 wins over top 100 KenPom teams. That's one way to sell it. The other way would be Memphis is 2-0, but they were down double digits to 2 teams, neither of which are probably going to be in the NCAA tournament. What do you want to? How you want to eat it?
I'll take the positive. I like the first.
I could give it to you.
I like the first one.
I could right now do 5 minutes and convince you that Memphis basketball is headed for the best season ever under Penny Hardaway, or I could make you really worried about how things are going. 5 minutes, I could be just as convincing in either direction. The good is, it looks like you got an All-American level guard.
Yeah.
Who is getting inside the arc, into the lane, finishing at the rim, mid-range stuff. He's been excellent, and you are 2-0 against 2 real basketball teams. That's the good. Top 40 at KenPom now, and at barttorvik.com. That's more good. You want more bad?
Yeah.
If you remove the preseason bias at barttorvik.com, most of these algorithms have like some history component to it. Because, as Ken Pomeroy has said before, the best indicator that somebody will be good is that they have been good. That's the best indicator. You think Purdue's going to be good? Just say yes every time, because they almost always are, right? You think Gonzaga's going to be good? Just say yes every time, because they almost are every time. So there's some preseason bias into these rankings, and Memphis has last season notwithstanding had a pretty good history, right? So they're top 40 now at KenPom, top 40 now at barttorvik.com. But if you remove that preseason bias from the equation, you know what Memphis drops down to?
What?
75th at barttorvik.com.
Okay.
Down to 75th. So just based on...
Bart. Let me take little notes here. I see you, Bart Torvik.
So just based on the actual basketball that's being played, points per possession, all that stuff, it's not as good as the 2-0 record against 2 real teams might suggest, but whatever. Let's not nitpick. Let's celebrate the 2-0 against 2 real teams heading into a game against Ohio this Friday. Penny noted that he'd like to see a nice crowd there. We'll see how many people you can get into FedEx Forum for Ohio, but that's another program that has had some, relatively speaking, success under Jeff Bowles. Bowles is a former Ohio State assistant. I believe he was there at the same time Mike Conley was there working with Ed Mata, has gone on to have a nice head coaching career. But Ohio, that's another team that they've had some basketball success. It's not going to be a power conference school. It's not going to be a top 100 KenPom team. They're sitting here at 141 at KenPom right now. So I don't know how many people you can actually get in the building for a 9-league game, but I think the goal here is to just be undefeated when you go to Maui and consider that an opportunity to launch yourself on to the national radar. The truth is, PJ Haggerty has been one of the best players in the country so far this season, and not many people outside of Memphis would even be aware of that. I say this as somebody who covers college basketball for a living. Like, you ready for this? We did more than an hour last night on the Ion College Basketball Podcast, me and Matt Norlander. Memphis was not mentioned. PJ Haggerty was not mentioned. When you do stuff like this and you don't have a number next to your name, it sort of just happens in the dark. Rankings matter. And the main reason they matter is because they put you on people's radar. They make folks pay attention. When I'm prepping for an Ion College Basketball Podcast and I'm looking at what games are important for Monday and what games are important for Tuesday, I go to the default top 25 scoreboard. And I go, okay, the Champions Classic Tuesday. Let's get that. Make sure to touch on that. But if you don't have a number next to your name, you don't show up in those places. So PJ Haggerty goes out and gets 29 in game 1. Awesome. 25 in game 2. Awesome. Tigers are 2-0, and they got one of the most effective and explosive scores in the country. Nobody outside of here knows that right now. All right? You know that. I know that. Most people around the country, even basketball fans, don't know that. But beat Ohio, beat San Francisco, be 4-0 heading into a game against the reigning and back-to-back champs in Maui. Then let PJ Haggerty go get 27 in a victory over UConn, snapping the Huskies' winning streak that dates to last season. Now you're on everybody's national radar. Now we're opening the Eye on College Basketball podcast on you. We go from not even discussing you for a second to opening the entire show talking about you. You can do it to Ohio. People outside of here won't notice. You can do it to San Francisco. People outside of here won't notice. But if you're 4-0, you go to Maui. Like, this is where, like, nobody was talking about, and I'm not comparing the two, right? But Maui is historically a place where you can really, like, launch yourself into, oh, wow, I didn't know about this. But most famously, I think, 2005, Gonzaga's in the Maui Invitational. If there was a way to research this, it would be interesting. How many people were talking about Adam Morrison before the Maui Invitational? Almost none.
That's true. Yeah.
He goes to Maui. He's got the long hair. He's got the mustache. He leads them to victories, big point performances. Next thing you know, he's in a National Player of the Year race all year long with J.J. Redick. It started in Maui. That's a big stage. And so if I'm Penny, that staff, that's a goal. Yeah, let's stop trying to stop falling behind by double digits against inferior opponents. That'd be nice. But more than that, let's just keep playing, stay healthy, and be 4-0 when we go to Maui, and then let's take a shot. Because when we get there, when the ball's thrown up, we're going to be across the court from the reigning and back-to-back national champs who are ranked third in the country right now, and who knows, by the time you get there, could be number one. You have an opportunity to make a real big statement. Just don't mess it up before you get there.
No, don't, because I can't wait for that game. You don't want to overlook, because like you said, the next two teams they play are real basketball teams. They're not, like San Francisco is what, in the top 40?
77th at KenPom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, San Francisco's a real team, yes.
Yeah. And you talked about Ohio, so those aren't just like bye games.
Be 4-0. Yeah. Be 4-0 with 3 victories over top 100 KenPom teams, and then go to Maui and take a shot at the champs. And if you lose it, hey, everybody assumed you would anyway. But if you go to bed on that Monday night of the Maui Invitational, 5-0 with a victory over UConn, and PJ Haggerty's averaging like 24 points a game,
you're getting ranked.
Well, you're getting a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, right.
All right? Right. Now you become you go from being an afterthought to the centerpiece of a conversation about college basketball.
Yeah.
And all of the chaotic stuff that was disruptive throughout the offseason, it starts to seem a little less important. Like, we're on the verge of maybe something fun. We got to get there.
Yeah.
But on the verge of maybe something fun. We come back, turn our attention to Tiger football. Ryan Silverfield's program got its 8th win of the season on Friday night at Simmons Bank. Still unlikely to make it to the conference championship game given the way the rest of the league is unfolding. But you'd rather win than lose. They did it. Crowd less than 25,000. We'll talk about it next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
Justin Timberlake. I'm bringing sexy back. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up JustinTimberlake.com.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Somebody else we have not seen in a long time is Morant. Since you've seen him, does he look any different to you, or is this the same superstar Ja that we were used to?
He's always getting better, so you just got to watch out for that. That's.
And it's a revenge tour. Yeah. It's a revenge tour, like the world's forgotten about me. And
I don't think they forgot.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
I will take Happy Feet. Give me Happy Feet. Hugh Jackman plays Memphis, the Penguin dad in Happy Feet. I love it. Beautiful message. The tap dancing.
Oh, that was great.
Give me Happy Feet.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The three big beats this week. One was root for points in honor of John Roser. How about that Miami-Louisville game?
Good
crushed
grief.
the over, which was 60. Finished with 97 total points, 52-45. Meanwhile, the Academy's covering again, both Army and Navy, getting the job done.
This.
Army, best start since 96.
America.
Navy crushed Charlotte. They're ranked 23rd and 24th in the country.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Who do you see ending up in the SWAC championship game? So give me your East and your West based on what you see right now.
If I had to say from what I've seen this year so far, I think you're probably going to get a Southern Jackson SWAC championship.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
You know, we got to talk about Scotty Pippen Jr. Scotty has inked that contract, and he is now officially off the two-way. He is a member of the regular rotation.
Well-deserved, from my opinion. Like, he straight up earned this one from all the time put in last season with the injuries to Summer League.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either, and that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in. And Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's OrthoSouth at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Final score, Memphis 27, Rice 20. Tigers take care of business Friday night inside Simmons Bank to improve to 8-2 overall, 4-2 in the AAC. Bennett, were you locked in on Friday night, or have you given up? Have you lost all
no,
hope?
I was here at the game. I did have it pulled up on my phone. It looked a little scary for a second, but they took care of it. No, I was it's Rice, so no offense. I'm just it's Rice.
You want to hear a ridiculous story?
Yeah.
Okay. So somebody I know, we'll just keep it that vague.
Yeah.
Somebody I know doesn't gamble on sports at all, right? Doesn't gamble on sports, doesn't even really follow sports.
Yeah.
Okay. And was just like hanging out and was like, hey, let's just do a 10-game parlay for fun. All right? And was just a 10-game parlay. Bennett, you're a gambler. How improbable are these things?
Literally, I had a 13 leg last night that would have paid a lot of money, and only one leg did not hit.
You went 12 of 13.
I went 12 of 13. But that's like, I was freaking out because that doesn't happen.
No.
No, it doesn't happen.
What would it have paid?
It would have paid it would have paid a couple $100. But
Okay.
that's not like for me. I'll get fired up for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it makes a 10-game parlay, right? And 9 of the first 10 legs hit. And the 10th leg was Memphis Rice on the money line.
Boy.
Just Memphis has to win.
And they were down, what? Was it 10-0? What? They were
I
down.
don't know if it was 10-0, but they were down.
They were down.
All right. And so this is a non-gambler with a 10-leg parlay. The first 9 legs have hit. And suddenly they got this entire bet tied up in a Memphis Rice football game. And the payout is in excess of...
I heard this story.
Is in excess of $10,000. And I was like, you should hedge it just to, make sure you get
right.
Chose not to. And then had to sweat the whole thing out on Friday
Because if you
night.
hedge on like Rice money line, you're still going to get some value there. Like,
Rice was, I looked it all all up for him. I was trying to help him.
Right.
It was like you could get Rice at plus 280. I think I think the plan was like to maybe throw $4,000 on Rice at plus 280 to offset everything, and then you're taking about a $7,500, $8,000 win no matter what.
Yeah.
Just let it ride. Woo. It was tense. The group chat was tense.
I bet.
But pull it out. That's
awesome.
I said that's a great gambling story. It should be your last one. Just know that never happens again. That's like getting it doesn't happen. It's like you've never played. This is the equivalent. If you don't understand gambling, 10-game parlay, it would be like you've never played golf, and you're like, all right, so we're starting here. Yeah, it's a par 3. Okay, what I do? Put it on the tee? Yeah, put the ball on the tee and then hit it toward that flag. Hole in one. That's what hitting a 10-game parlay is for your first bet is.
Yeah.
Is a hole in one on your first time you've ever held a golf club. It will never happen again. All right? So it should be your only
they're down 6-0. Yeah.
It should be your only gambling story ever. Hey, you ever bet on sports? Yeah, I did once. Hit a 10-game parlay. Cashed it with Memphis over Rice on a Friday night inside Simmons Bank. Only roughly 23,000 people in attendance. I don't feel there's any need to do this every week, right? It is what it is. Everybody knows what the score is.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell you that you're 8-2 and people still aren't showing up at your football games. That's a real problem. We've done that show, haven't we?
Yes.
All right, let's move on then.
Okay.
Number 2.
Ole Miss 28, Georgia 10. That was the final score down in Oxford. Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Not only did the Rebels beat the Bulldogs, they beat their brains in. They beat Georgia's brains in. And guess who's back in the college football playoff picture? Your Ole Miss Rebels. CBS Sports has Ole Miss right now as the 12 seed in the college football playoff. The official playoff rankings will update tomorrow night in the middle of the Champions Classic. But CBS Sports already has a projection up. It's got Ole Miss as the 12th seed. Tell me how you'd like this. A first-round college football playoff game. The 12 seed Ole Miss Rebels in Columbus, Ohio to take on the 5 seed Ohio State Buckeyes.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And then you're an Ole Miss fan. You get to go to Ohio State.
That's pretty good.
This is why anybody who ever said a negative word about expanding the playoff should never be allowed to say words anymore. I mean, mute for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I agree.
Think about how different that everything that happened in Oxford on Saturday. Think about how different it feels if we're still dealing with the BCS or even a 14 playoff.
Yeah. Like you get the nice day, right?
But it doesn't mean it doesn't take you.
It's not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere.
Right.
Now it's going somewhere.
Yeah, now you get the nice day and you get to think about what's to come.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
It changes your entire perception of the season. It changes the experience for fans completely. That would have just been a nice win in a disappointing season, if not for a 12-team playoff.
Right.
If you could have grabbed any Ole Miss fan and said, "So, how you feeling about things now?" They'd have said, "Man, that was a lot of fun on Saturday, but the season's still kind of deflating. We've already,
hopefully we go to a good bowl game."
Yeah. As opposed to, that was amazing. And I think we're back in it.
Yeah.
It changes everything. It changes everything. And so Ole Miss fans fired up, and they should be. The way this CBS projection goes, it's got Boise State as the 4 seed. I can't imagine that's ever going to be the way it is. They're not giving maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But it would have the winner of Ole Miss and Ohio State advancing to play Boise State in Boise.
I like it. I like it.
Hey,
I'm in on this.
Hotty toddy. Say hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy.
Say hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy.
Ole Miss
Hotty
basketball
toddy.
team, nationally ranked. Ole Miss football team.
Okay.
Back in the
Calm
college
down
football
over
playoff.
there.
It might be time for you to come to the SIP.
No.
Are you you ready to come to the SIP?
Nah, buddy.
It might be time
No,
for you.
they got to come here, dude.
It might be time for you to come to the SIP.
Nah, man, they got to come here.
You want to keep struggling with Rice, or you want to come to the SIP? What do you want to do, Bennett?
Listen, I know.
Am I now recruiting for Ole Miss? I don't mean to do that.
It sounded like I'm talking about. Well, no, when you bring out the basketball team, I'm like, hold on, they got to come play here. Like, I don't even want to hear that.
Basketball team's nationally ranked.
Yeah.
Football team's in the college football
We'll
playoff.
see about that.
It might be time for you to come to the SIP.
Yeah.
You mean get you a shirt?
No.
Could you wear an Ole Miss shirt?
No.
Do you
I
know
don't
that
think
growing
so.
up I couldn't, but I could now?
I don't think I could. I don't think.
Growing up, I would not. I never would put on an Ole Miss anything.
Oh, speaking of, by the way,
mostly because it was covered in Confederate flags. I'm not a racist.
That's not true at all.
Yes, it is true.
By the way, I forgot.
Yes, that is true.
Speaking of shirts, I wanted to mention this because Jenna gave me this awesome shirt today.
Okay.
The Memphis Hustle. They open their season tonight.
All right.
They're giving away these T-shirts at the game. Is that
Look at
good?
you. You think you're Mike Wallace. You ain't no Mike Wallace.
Fueled by hustle. The thing that I think's cool about it though is it's like a concert tee.
Oh, that is good.
And so it's got the 24-25 tour. I think that's pretty good.
No, I do like
that's
that.
That's a good shirt.
That's a good shirt.
That's for a giveaway shirt. That's a damn good shirt.
That's a good shirt.
Yeah,
so everybody get down to the Lander Center tonight.
Season opener tonight. If you go to the game, you're gonna get one of these cool Memphis Hustle shirts.
There you go.
Yeah,
Brand new. You know, before long, Bronny will be in town.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Home opener, I should say, not season opener.
Yeah. Man. We know what you meant. You ain't no Mike Wallace, but I appreciate that.
I tried my best.
But I appreciate the effort. You know, growing up, I could never wear any Ole Miss stuff. I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'd be very comfortable. You know, as long as it didn't have that little slave owner on it. Colonel Reb.
What happened to him?
I think he's banned.
Did they ban Colonel Reb?
They should have.
They replaced him with like a black bear, right?
I think so.
Or a shark. I can't even. What did they do there?
What
happened there?
I don't know. They had to get rid of the Colonel Reb. That was a little
I
too
know
much.
that, but they were like, hey, we have this black bear.
Yeah, I don't know.
In a shirt.
I don't know what happened.
And then they were like, well, no, we're the Sharks.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand any of it.
And I don't think they claim to be the Sharks anymore.
I think Lane Kiffin's just the mascot now.
I think that's right.
I think Lane's just the mascot.
I think he's just the mascot now.
I think the official order of business was replace Colonel Reb with the Shark, and then they replaced the Shark with Lane. And now Lane's. They're the Ole Miss Kiffins.
I actually think that makes. I mean, he's a great mascot.
Do you know I work with people who refuse to say Ole Miss?
Really?
They just like that's
you don't talk about them.
No, they don't. Like Ole Miss is they just.
Oh, Ole Miss?
Yeah, like that's the University of Mississippi. I'm not comfortable saying Ole Miss. And I said, I get it. Like whatever. That's probably why you just lost an election. Because you're not comfortable saying Ole Miss.
It's so true. It is so true. God.
That's probably why you just elected a felon, because you won't say Ole Miss out loud. All right?
It's true.
You just elected a felon because you're scared to say Ole Miss out loud.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Look what you did.
Look what you did.
Look what you did. That is so funny.
I said, that's fine. That's fine. I get it. I'm not going to pressure you to say Ole Miss, but just know literally nobody in the South says anything other than Ole Miss.
Right.
All right.
I've never heard anyone say the University of Mississippi in my life.
Nobody who
said that.
Nobody who has ever graduated from the University of Mississippi has ever said I graduated from the University of Mississippi. They say Ole Miss. I'm gonna get you a shirt, Bennett.
Okay.
I might even get you. I think you would rock a Colonel Reb shirt.
I have been to the.
You'd look comfortable in a. You kind of look like Colonel Reb.
So I've never been to a game. I've never been to a game. I have been to the Grove before on a big game day though, because we did. They did they used to do college game day radio. And we went and handed out T-shirts and stuff for them because we were an affiliate. And And it was cool. The Grove is cool.
The Grove's amazing.
I mean, there's like, if you know somebody, you get some good food. Like it's
I know
pretty
somebody.
cool.
I know somebody.
Beautiful people.
They're
like
beautiful
it's
people.
Yeah.
I know some of the beautiful people.
Yeah.
Man, it's a blast.
I ain't coming on board though. I'm not coming on board.
You know what I always do? Because people know where I live, and they'll be like, "Oh, so you're in North Mississippi? Yeah. How far from Ole Miss? 50 minutes. So you ever go to the Grove? I'm like, yeah, it's amazing. They're like, how's the Grove? Oh, it's the best. I never go.
Yeah, right.
I love it. It is the best.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I haven't been in 10 years. I never go.
That was the only time I'd ever been.
I should go.
You should go.
Like I do know people. There's no reason for me not to go. Like the best tailgating experience in the world is 50 minutes from my home. I have friends who are running the stuff.
It could be the center of the college football universe.
I'm always telling people how they should go and never actually going. I'm like, yeah.
Come on, man.
I'm like, you live in Iowa? Yeah, you should go. You should come down sometime.
Yeah.
Like I will not even get in my car and go 50 minutes. That's how unmotivated I am at life.
And it's all busy.
It's just busy.
It's all busy on game days.
You probably got to talk to people and stuff. You know, people probably ask you what you're doing.
Like I love going to big games, big sporting events, taking my kid, like all that kind of stuff. But I do always have these moments when I first get there and the traffic to get in and everything that I'm just like, why do I even like doing this?
Here's my experience. I've reached the point where I understand this about myself. This is my experience with everything in life. I don't want to do anything other than what I'm doing normally. Like I don't want to do anything outside of my normal schedule. And my normal schedule is work, be at home, go to the golf course. That is, outside of that, there's nothing. If we do stuff outside of that, it's never going to be my idea. All right? So I never want to do, you want to go to the Ole Miss game this weekend? No. You want to go to the movies? No. You want to go out to dinner? No.
I like to shake it up.
I don't. Okay. But when I do any of these things, I always have a good time.
They're always great.
I always have a good time.
You just got to get through that initial like parking and all that.
I just got to get off the couch.
Once you're in there.
I just got to get out of my office or get off the couch and get going. Once I'm going, I'm going to have a good time with you. But I don't want to go. I don't, like, left to me, I'm happy just to be at my house. I have no motivation. But the Grove is amazing. I'm going to get you a shirt.
Give me a shirt. I bet it ain't as cool as that Memphis Hustle shirt.
That is a nice Memphis Hustle shirt. I like that. Might be time for you to come to a sip.
I know. I'll go to a Hustle game first.
Okay.
That's like my entry, like the entryway.
Yeah, just get you a little in.
Just get my foot in.
That's just the tip.
Yeah, I get my foot in.
Just the tip in the sip.
I'll enter the tip.
Yeah, just the tip.
And I'll do that, and then after that we'll see.
See how comfortable you are.
Yeah. I do know Mississippi State's playing at the Lander Center, aren't they?
That's true.
They got a big game.
Ole Miss too.
Oh, they are?
They both.
Okay.
It's going to be a big day. You should come down for that. Just the tip. See how comfortable you are in the tip top of Mississippi. And if you're comfortable in DeSoto County, then maybe we could take you deeper into the Magnolia State.
Okay.
How deep are you comfortable in the Magnolia State?
Oh, I've been through Buck Cheeto or whatever that place is called.
Buck Cheeto?
Or is it Buck Snort?
I think Buck Snort's a place.
Isn't that in Mississippi?
I think it could be. Sounds like
I think there's a city called Buck Cheeto, too.
I don't know about that. That sounds made up. That sounds like you've got a big imagination. We'll see how comfortable you are in DeSoto County.
I've been through Mississippi. My mama used to live in Macomb. Like, I know Mississippi.
That's where your grandma stay.
Macomb back in the day.
Okay.
Then she moved to Mountain View, Arkansas. Then here, but
okay. So you got some.
I'm more of an Arkansas guy.
It's okay.
I'm more of an Arkansas guy.
I don't hold that against you.
Yeah.
I got nothing against the natural state.
Yeah.
I just want to see how comfortable you are in the Magnolia State. We might take you to DeSoto County.
I know both capitals, by the way.
What's the capital of Mississippi?
Jackson.
Of course. That's actually one of the easier capitals in the world.
And Arkansas's Little Rock. I mean,
We might not get everything right down here in the South, but we know how to pick a capital, don't we?
Yeah, easy.
Yeah. I mean, like, it'd be like, here's the way Maine would do the capital. It'd be like, what's the capital? Jackson? No. Senatobia. What?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Why'd you make Senatobia your capital? Why wouldn't it be Jackson? Jackson, Little Rock, Nashville. These states know how to pick a capital. I can't say the same for Maine. Certainly not for Wyoming.
They're saying Buck Snort's in Tennessee. I think Buck Cheeto is in Mississippi.
You keep saying that.
Why do I know that as like a city? That's got to be a real city. Am I just like, did I have a dream or something?
You're doing something right now that drives me crazy. It's something I try to talk to everybody about.
Okay, well, I don't know how to spell it. That's why I can't Google it.
Sound it out,
Hang
buddy.
on. Let's see.
We have reached a point with technology you never have to wonder about anything again. You never have to wonder. You don't have to wonder who was in that movie or what year that movie came out. You don't have to wonder if there's a city in a play.
Whoa.
Be careful.
Whoa.
Because you'd look, Butt and Cheeto probably take you to some wild places. I've seen some stuff on the internet.
Whoa. I gotta be careful.
I know this one girl I saw. I know she ain't scared to mess around with Cheetos. If you know what I'm saying. Be careful over there.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't find it.
All right. You just we'll figure it out another time. But I think it might be time for you to come to the sip.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to say.
Number 3.
We got a new Dear Jane.
What's going on?
Well, not life or death. I don't think it's life or death. We've had more serious Dear Janes, if that's what you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
But, all problems are problems, big or small. I don't subscribe to the idea that if your problems aren't big, they're not problems. Problems come in all sizes. Small problems can be aggravating as well. This is a couple. They got a small problem. I'll read it to you. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Comes from a woman. This is a woman writing Jane. She said, Dear Jane, my boyfriend and I have been together for almost a year, and we just went on our first vacation to Europe.
Okay.
Up until the trip, I believed he was perfect. I found him so attractive and thought he was hilarious, smart, and kind. But one thing he recently did totally put me off. It all started on our long-haul flight from the United States to London.
Okay.
Mere minutes into the flight, he took his shoes and socks off and remained barefoot for the entirety of the 8-hour flight. His feet smelt bad, and it honestly just grossed me out to see his hairy toes in such a public place. But I kept my mouth shut because everyone has different preferences when it comes to long flights. After a week in London, we flew to Paris. And the flight was 1 hour long, and yet for some reason he felt the need to take his shoes and socks off yet again. He did this on every single flight we took across Europe, and after I questioned him about it, he said it's because his feet get sweaty and claustrophobic. Vomit. I know my feelings may seem like an overreaction, but ever since I have not been attracted to him, which is shocking because I used to be obsessed with him. It seems so silly to throw away our entire relationship because of this. Is there anything I can do to recover from the ick? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, sweaty feet.
Sweaty feet.
I just think that you got to let your feet just, like, if I was sitting next to someone on a plane, first off, and they took their shoes and socks off, I would be like, could you not do that?
Would you actually say something?
Yes. I might. Yeah.
Do you say something to people on planes? Because here's the thing.
No, I don't talk to people on planes.
No, but would you ever speak up?
Oh, yeah.
I never do. And I don't always want to, but I always think I'm like...
Dude, if someone took their shoes and socks off next to me, I would be like, could you not do that?
I don't say anything to anybody. And I get, like...
Because what are they going to do? Like, they're not going to... What are they going to do?
I mean, I see some outrageous things on planes. Like, you sit down beside Buddy, and he's got his phone, he's watching a movie, and he's just no headphones. He's just watching it loud as can be.
That's outrageous.
Outrageous. And I just look... I'll do one of these, like...
Yeah, when we talk about like the decline of civilization, that is one of the first things I point to is all of these idiots that walk around listening to their phones without headphones. Like, what's wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, who raised you?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Who raised you?
Put your headphones in. They're cheap. Get a pair of headphones.
They'll hand them to you.
They have Bluetooths in them.
They'll hand them to you on the plane. They'll just hand them to you.
Yeah, dude.
You can't do that.
That's out of bounds. You cannot do that.
We agree then. There are things on a plane you cannot do. And one of them should be bare feet on the plane. What about a woman in a sandal? A nice foot. A nice pretty foot. Painted and everything. How you feel about that? Not the same.
Yeah, I mean, I like sandals. Like, I think sandals is fine. I think.
Why are you okay with a woman's foot but not a man's foot? You just told me if a man sat down beside you, took his shoes off, socks off, you'd say, "What are you doing?" Woman does it. You don't say a word. Why?
I might say a word.
You would say a word to a woman.
I think like it's more about the optics. Like, who do you think you are?
Who do you?
Like,
think
if you're
you
wearing I get it. You're wearing sandals. It's like the same thing. Your foot's still bare and stinky out in front of everybody, but if you just like take your shoes and socks off, you're like acting like you own the place. We all paid for these plane tickets.
We all paid for these.
Yeah, we all deserve to like feel comfortable in our seats, and you're over here just acting like you're like at your house. Like, come on, put your shoes on.
Put your shoes back on. I, as a million miler, Bennett, spent a lot of time up there in planes, and I will admit to something I'm not proud of. I'm going to admit to something I'm not proud of. I have not always been perfect. Okay,
what'd you do?
I used to fly in flip-flops.
I think that's fine.
I don't. Not at this age. It's something I thought was fine when I was younger and didn't know better. But as I've...
it's kind of... like, I wouldn't want to. It's kind of gross.
It's definitely gross.
Yeah. I mean, there's germs on planes. Like, there just is. You're in this little compact plane with a bunch of people that goes a million different places
and
a day.
Before TSA, I would have to... Before, like, TSA pre-check, I would have to go through normal security, like a normal person, like a peasant. They treat me almost like a peasant. And I'd have to take my flip-flops off and put them through the machine, and then I'm just standing barefoot in the middle of Memphis International.
Gross. That's gross.
It is gross, right?
Yeah, that's
But
sick.
I didn't know any better, Bennett.
Yeah.
You have to understand sometimes we're just, byproducts of our... I didn't know anybody. Nobody taught me that. I didn't know stuff.
Right.
You know? I didn't know any better. But now I know better. I teach my kids differently. If I ever saw one of my kids trying to get on a plane with flip-flops on, I'd punch them in the face. Right? I think it's completely out of bounds to take your shoes and socks off on a plane. That is outrageous. If try different socks.
Yeah.
Do something.
I mean,
but you can't take your socks and shoes off on a plane. Beyond that, you also can't end a good relationship over this.
I think actually what she should do, what she should have done, if you want to test the longevity of your relationship and is this going to work out or not, you just say, hey, could you not take your shoes off on the plane? I kind of don't like that. It's weird to me.
Well, no.
Like, talk it out.
Yeah, but you don't even have to say it like it's weird to me. You have to say, hey, listen, I know you've explained to me you got a sweaty feet issue, and I got my own stuff, and so, like, it's fine. Like, I love you. But you might not know, and I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm just telling you because you need to know. Everybody hates you when you do that.
Yeah. Your feet need to stink inside your shoes.
That's right. Your feet stink.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't want to tell you, but they do. And even if they didn't, even if you had the best smelling feet in the world and you don't, your feet stink.
Yeah.
But even if they were the best, you can't take your socks and shoes off on a plane. It makes everybody uncomfortable. It's just a bad look. It's like walking into a steakhouse with no shirt on.
Yeah, that nasty ass foot sweat is evaporating and becoming airborne in my airspace in the plane.
And so, like, listen,
I'm breathing in your foot sweat.
I love you, so I'm willing to deal with this. But everybody else on the plane doesn't love you. They don't even know you. And you are, when they get off the plane, you're the person they're talking about.
That's right.
They're saying, you wouldn't believe this idiot on the plane took his socks and shoes off and he was stinking the whole time. So we gotta fix that. You can't do that no more. And then if my partner, what your partner should do is thank you for opening their eyes. But if there's some pushback, then we might have some real problems.
Yeah.
But there shouldn't be pushback. If you otherwise have a good relationship, that should not be the deal breaker. This should be an easy workaround. How often are you even flying together anyway?
Right.
If you can't get over this one, you can't get over nothing.
No.
Any relationship's going to be about compromises, right?
I agree.
Yeah, like there's things you hate about your wife. Name them.
No, I don't.
Give me
want
three,
to.
just three. The three things that she does that drive you crazy. I can tell you something.
Oh, this is I think a universal one. When she asks me to do something, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And then she gets mad that I don't like jump up and do it right then, like the moment she says it.
Oh, that happens in our house all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, you would tell
That's
her,
a big one.
You would tell her how ours work?
Yeah.
Hey, Kelly, I need the login and the passcode for this thing that I have to get in and do this thing. 10 days will pass. Nothing. Hey, remember I need that login and that passcode. 10 days will pass. Nothing. I'm not exaggerating. This is a conversation we've been having for 6 months. All right? I still, at this moment, don't have it. But if she says, hey, I'm going to Dallas next week, can you book me that Marriott downtown? And I say, yes, I'll do it. She will call me back in 30 minutes and ask if I did it. But if I call her back and ask, hey, did you ever get it? It'd be like, I'm busy. Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Why do you think if I tell you I'll do something for you, I got to do it right then? But if you tell me you do something for me, it could be down the road or never.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Seems unbalanced and unfair.
I don't know.
Bennett,
That does seem unbalanced.
Sounds like we're going through the same thing, Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
What's the next one? What's the next one you hate about your wife?
I think this is another universe one, and I don't know why this becomes a thing in marriage, but it just does. What do you want for dinner? I don't know. Okay, we're not eating anything.
I've given up. I don't ask any extra questions anymore. I'm done with it. I don't ask any extra questions.
Yeah, that's the one. That one, I don't know. And I guarantee you, like everybody that's married out there, for some reason, when you get married, you just fight over what's for dinner. It's just it's the stupidest thing ever, but it's a part of every marriage.
I'm stopping by Wendy's. Do you want anything? I don't know. Okay. Well, I don't know either. So I'll order for me then, and if you change your mind, let me know. I'm not asking him. I'm not playing these games anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have to beg you to get something from Wendy's for you.
Yeah.
Do you want a single with cheese or not? Mm-hmm. Don't make me beg you to eat.
Yeah.
Everything's too many words, man. I don't need to say all this stuff. Here's the one that drives me crazy. This one. Hey, what are you doing? I'm just driving home. Well, hey, if you stop by Walgreens, can you pick up? I will drive straight home. Mm-hmm. Pull right into the driveway. Hey, did you go by Walgreens? No. Well, I told you. You said if I stop by Walgreens to get milk. Mm-hmm. I didn't stop by Walgreens. If you want me to get you milk, ask me to get you milk.
Yeah, be direct.
Say, please get me milk from Walgreens. Don't passive aggressive like, hey, if you happen to stop by Walgreens and you got a minute and you got an extra credit card laying around, no, we're done.
Yeah.
Don't start it with an if. If you want me to go to Walgreens, you got to tell me to go to Walgreens.
Right.
Because if you put it as if you stop by Walgreens, I'm not stopping by Walgreens. Mm-mm. So I stopped listening after that. Oh, I got a bunch of them, Bennett.
I mean, the rest of them are probably all my fault. So, but those were the two that immediately popped into my head.
But here's the point: these are all things you can get over and get around, right? You have to. Mm-hmm. You always every relationship you're gonna have your little things you got to work around, right? I ain't saying I'm the best at it or even good. I just understand that.
Yeah.
And so if I'm this couple, we're working through this.
Yeah.
We're not going to love each other and be attracted to each other, but then not be together because we have different flying habits. We're going to work on our flying habits, and she's going to help him do better. She's going to help this man do better. I wish I'd had somebody from me, 30 years ago to help me do better. He's lucky he's got this woman, and I think they can live happily ever after if he just keep his socks and shoes on.
Number 4.
Speaking of,
I see what you did here.
Speaking of plane habits, Auburn basketball team flying to Houston on Friday. Flight had to be diverted because 2 players got into a fight on the plane. They were scuffling in the air at 20,000 feet. What do you think makes 2 men want to fight on a plane at 20,000 feet? A private plane, no doubt.
Skip Bo.
It might have really been a card game.
I don't know.
Tony Allen and O.J. Mayo got into a fight on a plane once. It was over Boo Ray.
Oh, yeah, Boo Ray.
They're playing Boo Ray.
Yeah.
They're playing Boo Ray.
Skip Bo.
It could have been Skip Bo.
Grandma's game.
It could have been Uno. Could have been playing Uno. Could have been a card game. Could have been anything. Who knows?
Yeah.
But must be wild. You think you're just flying to Houston for a basketball game. Next thing you know, 2 dudes are fighting each other.
Right.
And the pilots, have you heard the call?
No.
The pilots have to call like air traffic control. They're like, we got a whole basketball team up here fighting.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious.
And then they went to Houston and beat Houston. I think this is just...
How is that possible?
I think it's just Bruce Pearl. It's the story of his life.
Yeah.
This guy's been coaching in chaos his whole life.
That's so true.
Been investigated
really
7,000 times. He's had coaches get arrested. Coaches get suspended.
Yeah.
Players get suspended. He just keeps winning.
That's
Doesn't
right.
matter. Hey, land the plane. We got 2 knuckleheads fighting. All right, get them off the plane. Get back in the air. We're going to Houston to play the number 1 ranked team at Ken Palm.
Were the guys that were fighting the big time players?
Nah, but they're real players.
Yeah, I got you.
They're like,
but not their stars.
No.
Yeah.
But at least one of them's a rotation piece. At least one of them played 15 minutes in the season opener. So, they were down. And they just go to Houston and win. No problem. So BP. Now Auburn's number 1 at Ken Palm. Number 1 at Ken Palm and number 1 in plane fights on the season. Congrats to them.
I like it.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Real quick, just a story I like. It's got nothing to do with Memphis or this market, and we'll probably never talk about him again, or perhaps we won't. But I was at the Veterans Classic on Friday night at the United States Naval Academy. Just first off, always awesome to be on that campus. Annapolis you've been to Annapolis, haven't you been at?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful little, I like just walking around Annapolis. I just got up Saturday morning and just went for a walk. It's really nice. And, the water's right there.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, doubleheader. It was VCU and Boston College and then Harvard and Navy. And there's a young man who plays for Harvard named Robert Hinton. And he is the living example of something I've been talking about for 15 years. I wrote a column about this 15 years ago. The point of the column being, if I were the parent of a top 100-ish level basketball player, not the father of Derrick Rose or Kevin Durant, but a borderline top 100 guy.
Someone who could go pro.
We would go to Harvard or Princeton or some school like that. And the explanation I gave is the NBA will find you wherever you're at.
Mm-hmm.
You can be at Kentucky or Kansas and Duke, and it's easier if you're there. But you can also be at Weber State or Davidson or Harvard. They'll find you wherever you are. There are no secrets.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Wells playing at Washington, they'll find you wherever you're at. All right? So if you're good enough to go, so first off, you're a top 100 recruit going to the Ivy League. Not only are you the most talented player on your team immediately, you're probably the most talented player in your league immediately. Top 100 players do not go to the Ivy League. So, your best player in your league right from the jump. How many freshmen can do that? You can. As opposed to go to Kentucky and be what? The 5th best player in the class? Sitting on the bench? All right. If you're good enough to make it to the NBA, you probably won't be, just probabilities and all that. But I don't want to kill your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
If you're good enough, they'll find you. Same way they found Jeremy Lin. And if you're not good enough, guess what? You're graduating with a Harvard degree.
That's right.
Those are valuable.
Yes, they are.
So I've just been making this case forever. And the problem, of course, is that most young people, when they're ranked 92nd in their class, even if I can show you how it is wildly unlikely you'll ever make the NBA, you're still probably one of the best basketball players you've ever been around your whole life, and you think you're doing it. So I can't sell you on this because if Kentucky, Kansas, Duke wants you, that's probably where you're going. Well, here's a young man named Robert Hinton, 6'5" guard from Los Angeles area. Borderline top 100 player in his class. Committed to Harvard as a sophomore in high school. I talked to him on Friday. He said his whole life he's been playing basketball, and it has never been his dream to play at Kansas or Kentucky or Duke, UCLA. He said, my dream was always to go to Harvard. His dad's a 2-time Ivy League graduate, mom also highly educated.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So he said, this is all I've ever wanted to do. Goes out in the season opener, nearly scores 30. The other night, again, nearly scores 30. Just seemed to be incredibly self-aware. So I was like, you come here, then you have this big season opener. He said, yeah, and if I would have went to, a power conference school, I might not even played that much in my season opener. Here, not only am I playing, I'm getting all the shots. He has a chance to go down as the best Ivy League player in history outside of maybe Bill Bradley if he stays 4 years at Harvard, and there's no indication he won't because, this is what he cares about. But what an impressive young man. If Tommy Amick or any Ivy League coach could find, if there were 20 of these, if you could just carbon copy them, because this is who you would want your son to be. These people raise this young guy to be an incredible basketball talent, and yet still never let him get away from what they perceive to be the most important thing, which is education. You hear people all the time talk about, you got to use basketball to get an education. Use basketball to further yourself. There's no way to do that from an educational perspective better than using basketball to get to Harvard, using basketball to create Harvard connections. And if you can make it to the NBA, awesome. That'll be amazing. But even if you don't, you'll still have the Harvard degree. Harvard didn't win on Friday night. Fun game, but Hinton was great, and his story is incredible. If I were an Ivy League athletic director, basketball coach, football coach, it's the type of story I'd be telling over and over and over again. Be back in a second.
Ending up in the SWAC championship game. So give me your East and your West based on what you see right now.
If I had to say from what I've seen this year so far, I think you're probably going to get a Southern Jackson SWAC championship.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Now every time you go to Miami, you can go see, like, that's a statue of me there.
No, I don't look nothing like that thing, man. Look, I'm sorry.
I would have been offended.
Look at that. That is UTA.
Oh, my God.
Oh, look. Hey, y'all got to get that screenshot, man. Put that on the
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
At Southland Casino Hotel, it's time to work hard, play hard with our $500,000 giveaway. Earn entries October through November 9th and take home free play and amazing prizes on select Saturdays, including a big rig. Stay connected on social media for weekly drawing clues. Join us November 9th for the grand finale drawing where you could drive off in a four-wheeler, side-by-side, or big rig. Work hard and play harder at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
I will take Happy Feet. Give me Happy Feet. Hugh Jackman plays Memphis, the Penguin Dad in Happy Feet. I love it. Beautiful message. The tap dancing.
Oh, that was great.
Give me Happy Feet.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
If I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
The three big beats this week. One was root for points in honor of John Roser. How about that Miami-Louisville game?
Good
Crushed
grief.
the over, which was 60. Finished with 97 total points, 52-45. Meanwhile, the Academy's covering again, both Army and Navy, getting the job done.
This.
Army, best start since 96.
America.
Navy crushed Charlotte. They're ranked 23rd and 24th in the country.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. I got an interesting tweet from a guy named Charles. He's a pediatrician, and I imagine he was listening earlier in the show where we were talking about injuries. And I said, listen, I can't prove this because I don't have the data in front of me, but it just feels like NBA players are hurt, sidelined a lot more often today than they used to be. And as I was prepping for a segment on this in recent weeks, I just sort of randomly just pulled up Michael Jordan because there's a guy, all-time great, played deep into his career. And it's just, we know how this guy lived.
Yeah.
He was drinking and smoking and gambling all night, every night. Women here. Michael Jordan did not take care of himself. His eyes are yellow. All right? 82 games. Just played them. 82, 36 minutes, 38 minutes, 41 minutes, 35 minutes. Just play. And now everybody's hurt. Not just here in Memphis, all over the league. Here's what Charles tweeted me. It says, he's a pediatrician again. So, not just one of us idiots talking. This is like a real doctor. Yeah. He says, I can't prove it, and I wonder about sports specialization at earlier ages setting up for long-term injuries. There is a clear association between single sports specialization at an early age and injuries as a teenager. In other words, I believe the suggestion is because we are prioritizing certain sports at a very young age and just saying you're a soccer player, you're a baseball player, you're a basketball player, you're a football player. Not as opposed to you're just a kid who plays everything. Like when I was a kid, the seasons dictated what you were playing. When it was warm, we practiced baseball. When it was cold, we played basketball or soccer. But we were not in a batting cage 12 months a year ever. I grew up with people who played Major League Baseball. They were not hitting 12 months a year. Now every 7-year-old who's serious about baseball is hitting 12 months a year. And so it's this weird push and pull that I don't really know how to solve. Here you have a doctor saying he can't prove it, but he thinks there's probably a correlation between specialized sports at an early age and all the injuries you're now seeing specifically in the NBA. I did see Mookie Betts talking about this during the World Series. Do you see this clip?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
They said, what advice would you give to young baseball players or young people? He said, play everything. He said, I played everything. And now you see Mookie Betts, he's in the outfield. He could play shortstop. He could play anywhere. He could play anything. You see him bowling. He could do that. He could go. He could do anything. And he really does. I bet he can't prove it either. But Mookie Betts believes he's able to be an incredible baseball player, in part because he grew up playing a lot of different things. And it taught him how to move. People say this about Patrick Mahomes. One of the reasons he's able to move the way he moves, slide the way he slides, throw on the run, it's just like a shortstop. You go into the hole, get a ball, make a play. That's what shortstops do. Patrick Mahomes, when he's running around the way he was running around on a baseball field the whole time, getting ready to throw a ball. You can connect these dots. And so you go, okay, well then let's just be smarter about it and let's not specialize in sports. Except I'm the father of a 7-year-old who is specialized in a sport.
Right.
And what I am telling you is that if I told his baseball coach, Lou's not going to pick up a bat for the next 4 months, he's just going to focus on basketball, by the time we reconvene for baseball, he would be so far behind the other 7-year-olds that he wouldn't even be able to play anymore. So it's like it's a chicken and egg thing.
Interesting. Yep.
Okay, we know we shouldn't be playing baseball 12 months a year, but what we also know is if you don't, you can't play. So what do? Just get hurt. Probably just get hurt. I bet there is something to that. I bet it's more complex than that, but I bet that does play a role. The specialization of sports at a young age. Be back with GP's Carryout.
I will take Happy Feet. Give me Happy Feet. Hugh Jackman plays Memphis, the Penguin dad in Happy Feet. I love it. Beautiful message. The tap dancing.
Oh, that was great.
Give me Happy Feet.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
We have not talked to you since we got the big fella that's going to go next to you.
What has impressed you about him, though? Just being on the same court with him, because you've watched him a lot in college. You got to see him. We got to see him very, very little in summer league.
Very quick twitch, like decision making. Yeah. No real fear of anything. Like very vocal, able to talk through the game. But I mean, like, dude won Player of the Year twice. Like
I know.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
You know, we got to talk about Scotty Pippen Jr. Scotty has inked that contract, and he is now officially off the two-way. He is a member of the regular rotation.
Well-deserved, from my opinion. Like, he straight up earned this one from all the time put in last season with the injuries to Summer League.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Who do you see ending up in the SWAC championship game? So give me your East and your West based on what you see right now.
If I had to say from what I've seen this year so far, I think you're probably going to get a Southern Jackson SWAC championship.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzlies stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
The three big beats this week. One was root for points in honor of John Roser. How about that Miami-Louisville game?
Good
Crushed
grief.
the over, which was 60. Finished with 97 total points, 52-45. Meanwhile, the Academy's covering again, both Army and Navy, getting the job done.
This.
Army, best start since 96.
America.
Navy crushed Charlotte. They're ranked 23rd and 24th in the country.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Parrish Show presented by Ortho South. Let's wrap it up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
Whole bunch of stuff, but I think the most important thing is poor flying habits don't have to end a relationship. Feels like this is something you could talk through. Do we agree on that?
I think we do.
Did we
agree on
land
that.
at the
Yes,
same place?
I think we do. By the way, the chat points out it's Bogue Cheeto, Mississippi.
Bogue Cheeto.
Yeah, I was confusing Buck Snort, Tennessee, and Bogue Cheeto, Mississippi.
Oh man, that happens.
That happens to everybody.
That's a normal.
Shout out Bogue Cheeto.
That's a normal mistake folks make. The Dear Jane is the source of this debate. Young woman writes to Jane. She says, Jane, I got a problem. I love my boyfriend so much. I'm attracted to him. I love him. We're perfect together. Except we flew to Europe, 8-hour flight, and this fella took his socks and shoes off and just had his hairy feet stinking up the whole place. I thought maybe it was just because it was an 8-hour flight, but then we did a 1-hour flight. He did the same thing. I talked to him about it. He said, baby doll, my feet sweat. And she said, I don't know what to do now because I can't. I'm grossed out by this guy.
Right.
I went from being attracted to him to now I don't want to look at his feet. Tough spot. Talk through it. You should be able to talk through this. If you can't talk through this one, you ain't going to be able to talk through most of the stuff. So just go ahead and call it a day. But you ought to be able to talk through this one. And Lee points out in the chat, I think he's got it right, that this is probably just a teaching moment. How often do people do things that are so outrageous for most of us, but they don't even know any better? And that's why they're doing it. Because they don't know better.
I think that's true.
And sometimes it's our responsibility to just teach
Educate
folks.
them, yeah.
It's like if you take somebody to a nice steakhouse and they're like, yeah, I'll take the 10-ounce filet, and they say, and could you bring a side of ketchup? You stop them. They don't know any better. So you can't do that. Like, you're embarrassing me, all right?
Right.
You can't do that. There are little things in life that you might just not you just don't know, right? So you can benefit sometimes by people, as opposed to criticizing you, trying to help you. Hey, I don't know if you know, but it is bananas that you take your socks and shoes off on a flight, and everybody hates you, and it stinks.
Right.
Are you doing it because you don't care, or are you doing it because you don't even know that you're doing something wrong? Now let's talk about it. I think sometimes people just do things and they don't know they're doing something wrong, and that's why they're doing it. And if you just nip it in the bud, then maybe it's a problem solved that easily. This feels like something you could nip in the bud. I'd be trying to nip this one in the bud. I think I'd bud nip on this.
What's today's biggest game?
You ready for some football Monday night party?
Yeah, I think so.
It's the Dolphins and the Rams. SoFi Stadium out in Inglewood, California. Dolphins are 2-6. Quarterback's always concussed. Rams are 4-4. Rams 2.5-point favorites tonight. Total's 48.5. How you going to act?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Dolphins have lost 3 in a row. The Rams have won 3 in a row. So this is telling me to take the Rams, but it's the NFL. Tua is obviously back with the Dolphins now. I'm going to say, this one's hard, dude. I'll say Rams.
Funny business.
I think it is.
You're walking into funny business.
I think we're going to go Dolphins. I think we're going to flip it and go Dolphins.
Just why would you not take the Rams?
The Dolphins have lost 3 in a row. The Rams have won 3 in a row. The Rams are only less than a field goal favorite. Only a field goal favorite.
At 2.5, they're just begging you. They're like, hey, you only got to lay 2.5 with the home team? Other quarterback's always concussed.
What if he gets concussed?
Funny business.
Okay, give me the Dolphins. You're right.
It's funny business. This is obvious funny business.
It is obvious funny business.
Yeah. 7:15 kick. We're on the Dolphins.
I think we're on the Dolphins, yeah.
We're not falling for this funny business.
No.
Too old to be
Do
falling.
we know where I am, by the way? Do we have any?
Yeah. I got you updated.
I won because the last one was Thursday Night Football.
That's right.
And I won that.
Yeah, you're now 162, 163 and 4. You're negative 18.7 units. But you're doing better. All right.
Okay.
You're not good, but you're better. Better than you used to be when you sucked real bad.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Let's go Dolphins.
What are we watching on TV?
Raw returns to USA Network tonight. The Bloodline is back together.
Oh yeah. We're back. We're back, baby.
Get that.
They're not going to be there.
No, Jay will.
Someone will.
Jay will be there.
There'll be a representative.
The bloodline.
There'll be a representative.
The bloodline is back. Oh, tonight we get Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez.
Okay.
I like that.
I like it too. I'm ready to split up Bianca and
They're
Jade.
going to.
Yeah, because they're both stars. I mean, dude, they even play like both of their theme songs when they come out to the ring. I'm like, it's time to break this up.
They'll be broken up. They'll be broken up before WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think so too.
They'll be broken up before WrestleMania. But tonight, there's gonna have to be some tag team friction in between them.
Yeah, I think that's coming.
We're headed towards some friction.
Yeah,
we're headed towards some friction.
What's the best thing we've read?
Well, Brandon Marcello's got his college football power rankings updated over at CBSSports.com. Oregon remains number 1 because they, they're awesome. Ole Miss, big win over Georgia, up to number 9 in Brandon Marcello's power rankings right now. I told you, projected as the 12th seed in the college football rankings published at CBSSports.com. Good time to be a rebel. I might get you to come to the SIP, Bennett.
Okay, I'll consider it.
You might have to come to the SIP.
Okay.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's Tuesday, so we'll be looking back at Monday Night Football, getting one day closer to Grizzlies-Lakers. Be a fun day. I can't wait. Enjoy the rest of yours. I'll enjoy mine. We're going to meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good, rep your hood.